We are back on the ML Sports Platter. It's all brought to you by CH Insurance. They are in your corner. Call today for the Boost program. Get the benefits for home and at work with your company through CH Insurance. 5 stars all the way in your corner for 25 years. I brought on my main man, a good friend of mine, a media guy who's crushing it and has been for a long time. It's Brian Higgins, the Syracuse Sports Insider, talk show host, Q Sports Talk, ESPN Syracuse. On and on it goes. Higgs, what's up, bro?
Mike, good to be with you, man. Fun time of year, huh? Fun time of year.
It really is. And it's funny. I was telling some folks this morning over at CH headquarters doing some work and some people yesterday, and my buddies texting me all the time. And people just keep hitting me like, how you doing? I'm like, dude, I'm trying to keep my body together and my mind right, because 1-year-old, 4-year-old life, sports is crazy this time of year, man. It's like we're bracing for hoops. Football for a change is amazing. Hockey's starting, baseball playoffs, right? We got everything going on, NFL every week. So, but that's why we do this, as you know. That's why we went into this. So I saw your clip. I was going to text you anyway to have you come on because it's been, I wanted to have you on for a while. But you made mention of something that I've been thinking about a lot too. I'm like, oh man, it's October. Uh-oh. With that shit, I'm like, wait, maybe not this year, right? So why does it right now 4-1? I think the Stanford loss was brutal, but in sports sometimes maybe you don't win the UNLV game, right, if you beat Stanford. Sometimes it works that way. Why is this going to be different? Why is there no catastrophic downfall mid-October, late October, November for SU this year? Why are they going to be okay?
Well, I'd say the hope is here, Mike, and I think the main tie of all these catastrophic downfalls is that generally the quarterback has gotten hurt right around this time of year, be it you look at Schrader last year, Schrader 2 years ago was playing banged up. Tommy DeVito's whole career, he's getting knocked around. Set aside 2018, like the first 3 years of Eric Dungy. This is about the time of the year he got knocked out for the season. Now, is the line that much better? I think it's improved. McCord obviously plays a different style, so he's not taking as many, big hits because he's not running around as much. But that's the hope. Like, if McCord's on his feet, I said this yesterday, Mike, if McCord's on his feet and he starts all 12 games and he is healthy for all 12 games, like Cam Ward's really good for Miami. First 11 games of the season, I think Syracuse goes in with the QB advantage. Like, if you've got a healthy quarterback. When's the last time you said that? So I think, honestly, if it keeps going this way, I think that's the main reason why.
And Dungy, that 1 year that he did stay healthy, was Camping Bowl, right? Year they win double digits, and during the year he carried them. And my answer is, I mean, if I could answer my own question, if I'm allowed, my 2 reasons would be: 1, the quarterback, if he stays healthy, and 2, Fran has brought in depth. He's brought in layers and layers of depth. So the past teams didn't have that. You would lose one guy here, one guy there, and it was like, oh shit, what are we going to do? There's all these guys. You just throw people in and be like, okay, hope to get through this game. Now I think they can actually put in legit guys, and there's more talent at the depth spots as you go down. I think that could help them. McCord, while he plays, obviously he's been tremendous, and we can talk all day long about players and coaches and Fran and culture and all this other stuff. But if you don't have a quarterback in the NFL and in college, you are in trouble. He has been able to right this thing in the right direction. New pieces everywhere. He's been amazing. He's a Heisman contender. But where do you think he needs the most work? Because he got away with a couple of throws against UNLV over the middle, sometimes the middle of the field, that second, third look, the progressions. Where do you see, hey, if he's still got to go up a level here? Where is that for you when you watch him?
Yeah, I think that's probably the main thing, Mike. Like, I think his pre-snap processing seems to be pretty good. Like, especially considering it sounds like a significant chunk of the offense is RPO, which means that he is making a decision before every play, be it run, pass. And then we saw the 2-minute drive last game. Got certainly lucky on one and pretty lucky on two that he didn't get picked off. What's leading to that? Is it a progression thing? Is it not seeing guys? I think that's the main thing, though, because his pre-snap processing, when he gets, 3-step, 5-step drop, back foot hits, balls out, like generally it seems to be a pretty good read and a pretty good choice. He gets a little caught sometimes trying to stuff the ball in some places, or maybe he doesn't see a guy. I'd say that's the next step. NFL, we'll see. But as far as a college quarterback, processing, it's pretty high level stuff we're seeing him do right now.
NFL will see is correct, but I got to tell you, we have seen him make some NFL throws.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, where the ball was hiked to him in Vegas last week, and he went to his weak side and threw that, dart, pun intended, to Gadsden along the left sideline there. That was unreal. I mean, the window was like maybe like this, and he nailed him. And that was a good thing too. I mean, Gadsden, look, Holy Cross, Stanford, we're kind of looking for him. He gets back in the action against UNLV. I love that. We're talking some Q's football with Brian Higgins. All right, right now, 4-1. What do you like most? What do you like least about this team overall?
I mean, I'd say it's twofold. Most McCord, is the short answer. I love NASA back in the day. We've never seen a guy like McCord here. We've never seen anything like this. It's like, I know other schools have been flinging it all over the place for decades now, Mike. We've never seen this. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, we've been asleep when they've got the ball in the past.
Yeah, like it would be like we've been talking about, they need to get the running game going. It's like, wait, why? No, just throw it all over Heligon. It's fun. It's fun. Yeah. I've liked that. And, Fran, acronyms and whatever, but Fran's on the dart. The the toughness of this team. I look at last week, like they had a mess on special teams. They had technically it was one punt blocked, but they had two punts completely blown up. Like, when that happens, you lose. Like, you lose those games. This team didn't lose the game. Look at Georgia Tech. They're imploding down the stretch of that game. McCord makes the throw to Gadsden. LeQuint has a run. Game over. You look. Unfortunately, the Stanford game got away, but but they had the 2-minute drill that they got them the lead in that game. I've been impressed for the most part, Mike, of the toughness and the fact that when it goes wrong, and something has gone wrong in every game, that they don't let it kill them. Because I'd say, college football, most of the time something goes wrong. That's it. With this team, it's not, and that's kind of fun to see.
Yeah, there's a wrong, they find a right. There's a mistake, they correct it. There's a big drive, they need it, they get it. Mentally, they seem a little stronger. I think there is some of that in-game stuff that we saw under Schaefer and Dino that has kind of disappeared. I think that's a good thing. I think Fran has a long way to go in terms of some game management and all that, but he's only 5 games in by the same token. How would you assess him on the field? Because after all, he came in and it was all, wait till you see this guy recruiting this and that and the other thing. And he didn't deliver. He went like deliveries here, ceilings here, and like there were another 20 floors, and he made the top of that, right? Mm-hmm. So he delivered on all the stuff we heard about, the guy, the culture, the this, the that, the community, picking up garbage at basketball games, loving Syracuse, knowing the history, bringing in recruits, bringing in a staff. He delivered, way over-delivered. But the coach, what have you seen? What do you like? Where does he go from here?
I said this from day one, that like we have zero clue what he's like as a coach. Like we hear all the great things about recruiting and this, that, and the otherwise. And as you said, Mike, like, man, that was a lot of fun. Like when do we talk football around here in February? We were leading shows with football recruiting in the middle of basketball season last year because it was so bonkers.
So cool.
But you see what's happened here, and yeah, there have been some mistakes. There are growing pains. Like the fact that they're getting punts blocked left and right is inexplicable. But I look at something like that, it's huge. Like it's a thing that should have potentially cost them several games already this year. That feels like something that is correctable over time. I look at some of Fran's flaws. Now, will he fix them or not? We'll see. But I look at the things he struggles with early. It's like, yeah, this guy is a first-time head coach that's never been a coordinator. It might take some time to figure all of that out, but like they are things that are figure-outable. They are not like, hey, if you can't recruit, that doesn't magically get solved. Like if you don't have an intrinsic feel for how to, lead a locker room, that doesn't necessarily get solved. We know he knows football, but like, can you solve like blocking for a punt? I'd like to think so. If they can't, they're going to lose some football games. But I think the stuff we've seen where maybe there's some issues so far are solvable. And I think, Mike, going back to like our first conversation, why maybe does it not fall apart this year? It's because that stuff can happen in season. Like we might see improvement on some of that stuff by November, where the last few years they were just hanging on for dear life by the end of the season.
Yeah, 2 quickie bullet on football. I got one maybe 30-second deal on basketball. I'll let you fly. I know you got to get on the air. real quick, is there a record you have in mind for, okay, if they go with this, it helps for the sustainability and the attrition of the recruiting and all that, right? Because you can't go 3-9 in your first year and keep the Fran Brown train chugging recruiting. I'm sorry. It's still about W's and L's, right? Is there a record, a ballpark, something that at least can keep more and more and more eyes on this thing moving forward? Is it 8-4, 9-3?
Yeah, I think it's like 2 and 3-fold. It's like, I think recruiting, Fran is, I mean, unless they literally, the wheels fall off, I think he's done enough that he is going to keep the attention of the kind of recruits that he goes after, for that he builds relationship with, that he does all the stuff he talks about. The other side of it, and you know this, Mike, like it takes more than that to keep the fan base locked in and going forward. Like, all right, say they go 7-5. They could go 7-5 this year and be in every game and have a pretty good year. Like, I think they're going to be playing a lot of similar teams here for the next couple of months. And then you end up in, the same bowl you keep going to, the Pinstripe Bowl, the Fenway Bowl, or everything, and it just kind of disappears in the wash. McCord is gone, and what are you selling next year on? If you can get to 8 or 9, and I'm not saying that'll be easy, but I think it's also doable, because I think you have a bunch of coin flip games coming up. If you flip it right a few times in a row here, you get to 8 and 9. That's when, okay, we saw it with Dungy. That's when you get the bowl level a level up. And what we saw then, and unfortunately, this is where the follow-up becomes important, and where it stinks you don't have McCord for another year, because that's when you get the season ticket jump. That's when you get the buy-in for next year. And what happened last time, right? They got the season ticket jump. Dungy's gone. DeVito ends up not being everything we hoped he'd be. You sell out the Clemson game, and you lay an egg, and then the air's out of the balloon. Well, that's where the real jump has to happen. Can you reel people back in for next year with this year? And then you got to take advantage of it next year. So it's like 2 or 3-fold here to pull the whole thing off.
That's a good answer. How about this NC State game? Quick minute on that.
You know what, Mike? I said all offseason, this is the hardest game on the schedule.
I agree with you.
And it's not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I've watched this team, and now, the quarterback's hurt. Man, what a scary hit Grayson McCall took. That was wild.
But so this is one of the 8 surprises before a season you don't know, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a coin flip game. Syracuse has never played well there. The fans get on you. It's a tough place to play. The only win they've ever had there was the first year in the ACC when Terrell Hunt ran for 1,000,000 yards in that game. Yeah. But I look at NC State, and the reason it's been hard for Syracuse in the past, I don't think their team's set up that way this year. They don't have a great running game, and their D-line, which has churned out pros, isn't quite that. So, McCord's going to drop back. He's going to throw it all over the lot, and I think we're going to have ourselves a ball game again. Whether they win or not, I don't know, but I don't see any reason they can't, and I think it's going to be another close and late game this week, which should be fun to watch again.
Quick 30 seconds on basketball. I'm thrilled Bell's back. I'm thrilled Starling's back. I think they're both studs, and you got a couple studs coming in. And you know how much of a fan that I am of Red. You and I have talked about that. Give me the X factor player on this team.
I think it's 2 things. Team chemistry has to be better than last year, right? I think that's what they went into the portal to accomplish. Yeah. So I think, assuming they got that right, and I have no idea, but I think that was their main goal. Assuming they got that right, that's good. And then you want an X factor that can really increase the ceiling of the team. It's how good is Donnie Freeman? Like, if Donnie Freeman is like good for a freshman, okay. If Donnie Freeman is good, like if he comes in and is, I'm not saying mellow, that's not fair. But if he comes in and like has a really good freshman year and is like a legit all ACC caliber player, I think that's what can really increase the ceiling. But we've never really seen him play. So I think he's the most fascinating guy.
No doubt. ESPN Syracuse, Q Sports Talk, Brian Higgins, at Brian Higgins 315. Go give him a follow on Twitter or X or whatever the hell we're calling it now. It's all brought to you by CH Insurance. Higgs, you're the best. Thank you so much. And I'll see you very soon, I hope, man. Busy times. Keep up the great work.
Thanks, Mike. Sounds good.